If I were to ask you which flower is most beautiful, what would you say? Perhaps you feel a bit more drawn to one or the other, or maybe both flowers are equally beautiful. The thing is, a flower does not think about competing to the flower next to it. It just blooms. For the longest, I have found myself comparing my journey, my appearance, my life to others. And what I have concluded is that comparison is the thief of happiness. Hello, beautiful friends. My name is Anny, and if you're finally ready to get out of your own way and become your best version, then this might be the channel for you. Here, you'll become more self-aware, learn healing practices, and take aligned action to create your most magical life. I'm going to be going over why it is that you find yourself feeling jealous or envious or even comparing your life to others, whether this applies to relationships, your career, your success, your wealth, self-development, or even your beauty, so that you can once and for all change your mentality around your own journey and not comparing yours to others. Because the thing is that their success is not your loss and their loss is not your success. And for the longest, I found myself comparing to the point where I couldn't even look at how far I had come. I couldn't even enjoy my own journey and growth because I was constantly wishing and victimizing myself. The first thing that we're going to do is identify why it is that you feel envious to others, why it is that you compare your life so much. Perhaps it's that you have a scarcity mindset, which means that you focus more on what you lack than what you have. And there's also this underlying belief that you will never have that is not obtainable for you, that there isn't enough to go around. When in reality, you desire this so deeply because there's a version of you that already has it. But we can get so jealous and envious that we even become resentful to others, sometimes even our friends. Like that one friend that's in a really happy relationship and that they seem like they're so in love, you start to wish you had someone like that yourself, that you might also unintentionally send negative energy or bad vibes to that friend. Or have you ever came across an influencer who you see that has it all, the following, the money, they're traveling, they're spoiling themselves, they buy what they want, and you feel this icky feeling like they're not supposed to have that, or you wonder why they get to live that life and you don't? And you may not do this intentionally. I know that when I started comparing myself to others who were successful, who were living the life that I so deeply desired, I didn't mean to send them this negative energy, this envious energy. I didn't mean to feel like they weren't worthy of it and that I was. It's just that it felt so out of reach for me. But really, that was only a reflection of my own wounds and how much I thought I lacked, how much I thought I wasn't enough or whole, that seeing others be this happy and this fulfilled and live such a luxurious life is what I wanted. I wanted the happiness I thought they possessed. But here's the thing, you never know what's behind closed doors. No matter how successful, how happy, how wealthy, how fulfilled, how perfect someone's life seems, whether this is an idol, someone famous, or someone that you don't know what mental battles they have gone through. You don't know what it took for them to get to where they are. Let's say that you're constantly comparing yourself to this girl that you follow on TikTok or social media or wherever, and every time you see this girl, you really admire her body. You see how fit and healthy she is, you see how nicely toned she is, you see how healthy she eats every day, and you really wish that you could do that for yourself. And you think to yourself, how come she gets to have that body and I don't? You don't know how long it actually took that person to get there. You don't know how much they had to go through trial and tribulation to finally achieve that body. You don't know the tears they shed, the nights they stayed up, how early they had to wake up to go and get up and push themselves. You cannot compare your chapter 1 to someone else's chapter 20. And let me share a quick little personal story. When I first started sharing on social media, I really struggled with not comparing my growth. I would constantly compare how many followers, how much interaction, how many subscribers, how many likes, how many comments I was getting compared to someone that had been in the game for the past 5 years, for the past 2 years. I was comparing to someone who already had the skills, the wisdom, who had built up a community, a family, who had that social media presence, to me who just started 6 months ago. And that's just so unrealistic. It comes from being impatient, and it comes from a place of lack, aka a scarcity mindset. I do want you to keep in mind that it is natural to compare ourselves. We all go through this at some point in time of our lives. Again, whether it's in relationships, career, personal development, personal goals, wealth, whatever it is, it's normal to compare ourselves. It's just important for you to become aware when you're comparing yourself and consciously choose to not feed into it. The second thing is turning comparison into inspiration. Allow other success to inspire you, to give you that push to get started or to keep going. Allow it to motivate you to get focused and determined, to create and take real actions, to come up with a plan, a daily routine perhaps, that's going to lead you there to that lifestyle that you desire, that you admire from them. Once I was able to get out of the victim mentality and I stopped asking the universe, why not me? And I started instead taking aligned action, molding myself, creating a new version of myself that aligns with the life that I desire, everything changed around. And when I would see certain posts as I was scrolling, when I would come across certain videos of people who I was inspired by, I took aligned action. There was no more procrastination. There was no more comparison. It was just, okay, I have to do the work. I have to put in the same work that they did to get there. In order for you to get that fit body, you have to go to the gym and work out. In order to become wealthy and abundant, you have to create the business. You have to move your way up to the next level. You have to put yourself out of your comfort zone. You have to take the course or the program. You simply have to do the work, but also be patient. It's not going to happen overnight, and that's okay. You also just have to understand that each journey is unique to that individual. It's not going to look the same. It's not going to develop in the same way, not in the same timing, not in the same process, and that's completely okay. A great way to reprogram your mind around this belief, or when you find yourself comparing yourself, is to use affirmations. Reframe the way that you say things. Instead of, again, victimizing yourself, you want to say, I am worthy of that too. I am capable of that too. I am deserving of that life. I am deserving of love. I am deserving of wealth. I am deserving of whatever it is that I desire. I have always wanted to be in a relationship where I was nurtured, where I was thought of, where I was spoiled and romanticized. And I would see some of my friends receiving that treatment or find themselves in relationship with men who were naturally like that. And for whatever reason, because subconsciously I didn't believe that I could find someone like that, I wouldn't find a guy like that. All the men that I dated were the complete opposite. They weren't thoughtful, they were toxic, they were narcissistic, they didn't know how to communicate, they weren't romantic. And although I was genuinely happy for my friends, I was robbing myself of happiness. I was robbing myself of simply loving myself, giving myself what I was seeking outside of me in that time, because I was too focused on victimizing myself, on simply wishing that that man would come into my life, that I would find the one, that I would find my soulmate. Until I started shifting that focus towards me, spoiling myself. I started taking myself out on dates. I started buying myself flowers, which I do every single week now. I started doing the things for myself that I wanted from someone else. And literally in that time, when I least expected, I ended up meeting my divine counterpart. Also, something else that I want to mention is that in the process of me learning to no longer compare myself, is that there is something for you to learn about yourself. Maybe it's to love yourself more. Maybe it's to develop certain skills. Maybe it's to become more disciplined and organized. Or maybe it's just to get to know yourself better. There is something bigger at play. And if you're able to look at this from the perspective of, what is this teaching me? What's behind all of this? Then you can appreciate it a little bit more. Last but certainly not least is knowing that you are enough. This is what I struggled with at a subconscious level, and it was eating me alive. I simply did not think that I was enough or that I was deserving of such life, of having the soulmate, of having the success, of having the recognition, or whatever it was for me. Whatever it is for you, know that you are enough. You are beautiful enough. You are abundant enough. You are successful enough in the now. You don't have to wait until you have such desires to feel what you want to feel, because the reason that you want that thing to begin with, the reason why you compare yourself to that lifestyle is because of what you think they feel, right? As I said earlier, if you're able to tap into that frequency, into that emotion, the fulfillment, the happiness, the joy, the freedom, in the now, then you're not going to feel this sense of lack. And this was a complete game changer for me. Tapping into gratitude was literally the missing key. That was what truly changed my mindset around envy and sarcasticity and comparison. I literally started showing gratitude for the most simple of things, and I felt it within my core. And of course, I had to fake it until I made it. I would say these affirmations, I would say these things and not really believe them. But it got to a point where I actually did feel them in my core, because I started meditating and visualizing them. I started showing gratitude for my bed, the fact that I get to lay in a really comfortable, soft bed. I started showing gratitude for the food that I was eating, the fact that I was receiving the nutrients that I need and how delicious that meal was. I started being grateful for water, even the fact that I get to drink water whenever I please. I showed gratitude for my family, the fact that I get to spend time with them, bond with them, talk with them, cherish them. But really, really feeling grateful for the simple things that you have. Even such as your car, the fact that you were able to drive and not have to take the bus, or if you don't have a car, just being grateful for the bike that you have or whatever it is that you have. You just have to know that you are not lacking anything in this moment. You have to become a vibrational match to your desire, and you start by feeling it in the very present moment. The other thing with this is as well that society tells you where you need to be in life. They tell you how you're supposed to look, that you need to have the smallest of waist and the nicest of shape, that you need to be making X, Y, and Z of money, or that you need to graduate and go to college, that you need to start a family, or that you can't wear the same outfit 2 days in a row. Social norms are simply not true most of the time. And the sooner you're able to realize this, the sooner you'll be able to break yourself free from your own expectations of what's real, what's illogical, and what's okay, what's just flowing, the process, falling in love with your own process as you develop and as you grow and as you evolve and as you achieve goals, as you level up, as you attract in more things, and so on. If you want to continue focusing on yourself and learning to get out of your own way, then I suggest you watch this video next. See ya.